Hey everyone, today we are going to make a recipe called Pani Po Po. Pani Po Po is a Samoan coconut sticky bun. It's basically a roll with a coconut custard sauce. It's a sweetened sauce you make with coconut milk, which I'll show you later on. This recipe comes from my mother-in-law Sherry, who lived in Hawaii for 10 years. And it's a family favorite, and she taught me how to make it before I moved to Hawaii 10 years ago. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started on the dough mixture. So what we're gonna start with is you need a cup of milk. It doesn't matter what kind, 2% whole milk, non-fat, just a cup of milk. You're gonna do a cup of milk. You're gonna do a half a cube of butter, which you're gonna add to your measuring cup. Okay, then we need 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Add it to the milk. This is where our flavor comes in for the dough. And then 2 tablespoons of just regular sugar. What you're gonna do is you're going to put this in the microwave for 3 minutes. And that's going to heat the milk mixture up as well as melt the butter. And then you're gonna just let that sit on the counter for a little bit to cool. Okay, now we are going to activate our yeast. Now this is the part where people usually get really scared and they say, oh, I can't make bread. And really, all yeast needs is the perfect temperature and some food to feed it. The food that we're gonna be giving it is some sugar. To activate the yeast, we need the water to be a certain temperature. Now, the way that I teach my boys how to activate the yeast is I say, what temperature do you like to take your showers at? If it's too cold, the yeast will not activate. If it's too hot and you don't want to stand in a shower that hot, it will kill the yeast, so your yeast won't turn out. So all you're gonna do is crank the faucet to the hottest setting, and you're gonna just stand here feeling the water until it gets to the point where you're saying, I would like to take a shower in this temperature. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the yeast to the bowl. We have 1 tablespoon of yeast, and then to feed the yeast, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar. All right, now I'm going to add that warm water. All right, after adding that water that should be the temperature that you like to take your showers at, I mix around the sugar and the yeast, make sure that the sugar gets into the water to feed the yeast, and we wait for a couple of minutes. You'll get to see the yeast actually come alive. You can see that the yeast has come alive. It's bubbling and a little bit of foam forms on top. After the yeast has been activated, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of flour to the mixing bowl. And I'm going to mix this mixture together until it is blended. Okay, now that we've let our milk mixture cool to be a warm temperature consistency, and we've mixed our yeast mixture with a little bit of flour in the bowl, I'm going to add the milk mixture to the yeast mixture, and I'm going to continue adding flour until I form a nice sticky dough. Don't add too much flour because then your rolls will turn out like bricks, and no one wants bricks for their fluffy, fluffy Pani Po Po rolls. So here we go. Once the dough has come together and I'm satisfied with the consistency, I'm going to remove the dough from the bowl and the dough hook. I use lots of flour on my hands to do this. Turn it on to the counter and form a ball, and then spray the bowl with cooking spray so that the dough does not stick. Just finished getting our dough together. It's nice and safe here in our bowl, and it's time for this dough to take a little nap. We want the dough to double in size. It's very sticky still very, very pliable. You can tell that the gluten has developed. It's gonna be luscious and fluffy and amazing. So we want this to reach about the top of the bowl. Now, depending on where you live, this could take anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour and a half. In Hawaii, it's kind of like we already live in an oven. We've got the humidity working for us. We have the heat, which makes my bread usually rise within 40 minutes. It's ready to go. So we're gonna put this baby to sleep, put his little blankie on. You can use a paper towel, cling wrap, and we'll see you later, my baby. Okay, while our rolls are doubling in size for the second time in the pan, I'm going to make the sauce to actually make these from just regular dinner rolls to Pani Po Po coconut custard rolls. So our ingredients for that is we're going to combine a can of coconut milk, 1 cup of sugar, and a pinch of salt into a saucepan. And we're gonna cook that over medium heat for a little bit until it thickens. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to a little bit of water. And then we're gonna cook it even more until it comes to a nice thick consistency, and it will be ready for our rolls to bathe in. Okay, we are gonna add the coconut milk plus a can full of water plus 1 cup of sugar and a pinch of salt. My dough rose double in size in the bowl, and then I turned it out onto the counter, a floured counter, and I divided it into equal portions, about the size, a little bit smaller than a clementine. So when you're dividing the dough, you want to put it into pieces about this. Just take a knife and cut the dough, roll it out into like a long snake, if you will, but thick snake. And then you're going to want to form the dough about the size of this. These have already risen for about 20 minutes. They have a little bit more to go before they're ready to bake. This recipe makes a whole jelly roll pan or 2 9x13s, as you can see. After baking the rolls for about 15 minutes, I took out the rolls and added half of the coconut mixture to it so that it could bake in the coconut mixture. After about 15 more minutes, I'm going to add the rest of the coconut sauce to it, and the rolls will be ready. Okay, here is our finished product. 2 beautiful pans of Pani Po Po. You can see how the rolls are nestled into that beautiful coconut sauce. And the ultimate judge of this recipe is the hubs. So let's give him a roll to try. Make sure we get lots of sauce for him. Don't burn your mouth. Okay, try it. We're not fishing.
Slay. That's really good.
Bite for me.
Shameless plug.
Bite
Everyone
for
wants
Kylie.
a bite.
It's hot. Is it
How
too
is
hot?
it?